Hey everybody, welcome back. Doing something a little bit different this time, and give me a little bit to set everything up and make sure the stream is running good. All right, looks good. Think I figured out the problem with my quality of the stream from last night's video. Spent about an hour digging through videos and forums for OBS to try to figure out how to set up the resolution to be a lot clearer, because I just was not happy with how low resolution that I had last night on the stream was. So I think I got it set up. I think this is going to be a lot clearer than last night's stream was, and I think it's going to be a lot clearer than the streams I've had in the past. I really went in and tweaked some stuff, and I know where to go now, where I can tweak it even more if I want to get better resolution. However, this is chewing up a huge amount of memory and resources to where I cranked it up to. But fortunately, my computer is a pretty good computer, and it's not like I'm uploading this to YouTube after I get done. This is already loading to YouTube, so I don't have to worry about them spending 2 hours processing the video. So hopefully this will turn out all right, and it will look good, because I mean I'm looking at my video right now. It looks fine. The resolution looks fine, but whatever. I'll have to really take a look at it when post-production comes around. Let's see. I think everything is set up. Everything's set up good. Yeah, all right, so we're taking a look at Order of Battle World War II today. Don't know if I'm going to make this a regular stream or not. Maybe, possibly, I don't know. You know how things tend to go with me. But Order of Battle World War II, you can get it off of Steam. The initial program is a free download, which I think is kind of really cool, because they give you the base engine, and you get like 3 or 4 tutorial scenarios that you can play with, and then after that you can go through and start buying whatever expansions hold your interest. And right now they've got several expansions: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9 expansions. But you start off with the boot camp, and from the boot camp, now the one thing that's kind of nice about this is since it is mainly a campaign, since there are scenarios you can play, but who wants to play scenarios? I just want to play the campaigns. You can carry over your forces from campaign, from DLC to DLC. So basically, you do the first boot camp, the first 4 scenarios, 3 or 4 scenarios from there. And if you can kind of look, you've got this arrow that leads down to U.S. Pacific. Well, that's one of the expansions. And if you purchase the U.S. Pacific expansion, you can bring your forces that you had in boot camp and bring their experience and your leaders that you've got and all that other stuff into the Pacific and play through that campaign. And if you can kind of look right here, we've got Morning Sun, which is Japan and China. You play through that DLC, but you've got this arrow here that leads over to Rising Sun. You can bring your forces that you played through in Morning Sun into Rising Sun. Now, this isn't true for all of them, because you've got like this one right here, the U.S. Marine expansion. There's no arrows leading to or from it yet. I'm sure in the future there will be. And here you've got the Burma Road. Really, the only other one that leads from one to another is Blitzkrieg, then leads into Panzerkrieg. Of course, Blitzkrieg being, Poland, Denmark, Lowlands, Norway, France, all that good stuff. And then Panzerkrieg is the invasion into, or Blitzkrieg also includes parts of Barbarossa, and then Panzerkrieg is 42 when the German offense kind of stalled. And they've got Sandstorm, which is, of course, obviously North Africa, just from where the icon is. Winter War between Norway, or Finland, and Russia. And then Kriegsmarine, which was kind of cool, because that's primarily all naval engagements. Very little land battles with Kriegsmarine. And they got some perks, so like Flak Battery. Owners of Kriegsmarine campaign will receive a unique 20mm flak unit in their Blitzkrieg campaign. So if you pick up Kriegsmarine and own Blitzkrieg, owning Kriegsmarine will give you a unique unit that you can use in Blitzkrieg.
And then like here, Viking Division, Owners of Winter War, which is the Finland, Norway, or not Finland, Norway, Finland, Russia. Owners of Winter War campaign pack will own a unique Viking division in the Blitzkrieg campaign after acquiring the Waffen-SS specialization. And then you have like the Australian Commandos. If you own Burma Road, you get Australian Commandos in the U.S. Pacific campaign, Squadron Leader. If you own Morning Sun, you receive a unique Air Commander in the Rising Sun. Then Zundap Motorcycle, owners of the strategy game Heroes of Normandy, which is a completely other game that you can get on Steam, receive a unique Zundap Motorcycle reconnaissance unit in the Rising Sun campaign. So they've got the basis here, and they've been working on that all these campaigns can kind of work together, and I think that's kind of cool. I think it works a little bit better than the old the predecessor to this game, because anybody who knows, hey, Dog Sidious is in the channel. Welcome, Dog. If you like Star Wars, go check out Dog Sidious's channel, all things Star Wars. He also does a Final Fantasy 14 MMO playthrough on Tuesdays, which I'm not a big fan of Final Fantasy, but it is actually kind of amusing to watch him play. So I kind of sit in there when he watches. But yeah, go check out Dog Sidious for all things Star Wars related, and I believe he is doing a roundtable discussion on YouTube Hangouts or Google Hangouts tonight, and it should be Dog, Our Red Sox Fan, Stratomatic Delaware, Comics with Bueller, and myself, and we're going to be talking Star Wars tonight, and that's going to be 7 or 8 o'clock Eastern, so adjust accordingly. But so that's going to be happening tonight. But anyways, back to Order of Battle. Those of you who don't really know Order of Battle, it is the spiritual successor to Panzer Corps. And Panzer Corps was the spiritual successor to Panzer General. And anybody who was into strategy games computer strategy games back in the 90s know Panzer General. Because it started off with Allied General, and then there was Panzer General, Panzer General 2, Panzer General 3, The Art of Panzer General, Fantasy General, what was the last one? The People's General, all basically using the same engine, just different variations on a theme. And it's proved to be rather popular. It's a good, easy intro level strategy game with some difficulty to it, but very, very popular. And like I said, it spawned dozens and dozens of spin-off games, like I think, or clones, I guess you will. I know Slithering Matrix did, I think their Warhammer 40K Armageddon, I think that was the name of it, it's a Panzer General clone. And there's a bunch of other games out there. I think there's one that just came out on Steam, Panzer Strategies, which is a Panzer General clone. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's a good system, and once you play one of them, as long as you learn the Chrome, you can learn the rest of them. But yeah, so you get the base game. It's basically pick and choose which campaigns you want to play after that. I hope I'm going to see. No, it's not popping that window up. I still haven't quite figured out how to get separate windows to pop up in OBS without having to record the entire screen. But anyways, all the DLCs ranging anywhere from $9 to $14. You pick and choose whichever ones you want, and it just automatically. Well, I think they're already preloaded, so it unlocks them for you. So yeah, that is Order of Battle. And as always, if you're really interested in it and don't want to spend money on it, wait for Steam sales. They come around well, I wouldn't say quite often. There's 2 big sales that Steam has every year. They have their summer sale and their winter sale, obviously, and that's when virtually everything goes on sale. So you can usually wait for then, or every once in a while, they have the weekend deals and the week-long deals. And so it's probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for some of these for one of these sales to come up, because I would like to pick up other campaigns for this. I did start playing through the Panzerkrieg campaign, and I think I've done 2 or 3 scenarios in that so far. Order of Battle is slightly different than Panzer Corps. It more kind of focused. It included front lines and supply lines and stuff like that, and I'll get into that when I get into the video.
But so yeah, I just basically wanted to go over kind of over the basics of it so far. Oh, and Dog City is saying, yeah, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the round table. I think we're going to be noshing on Star Wars tonight and complaining about it because that's what we geeks and nerds do is we complain about things. Not that there's anything wrong with it. That's what we do. So let's just go ahead and let's jump into this. And I did want to give everybody, here's a whole bunch of my saved. Are you guys even seeing that? Let me bring up. Yes, you are seeing that. Okay. Um, my previous save games. Oh, come on. There we go. And then my regular save game, and kind of shows you, which DLCs you have. So these are boot camp save games, and there's Panzer Creek save games so far. So then my regular save game. It's been a few days since I played because I got sucked into Pathfinder Kingmaker, and I don't even want to talk about that game right now. It is kind of frustrating me. I had a bad day yesterday, so I playing Pathfinder Kingmaker. I got to the point where I'm so frustrated with it, I'm not even sure I'm going to go back to playing the game. Then I decided I was going to sit down and record some second season football, and I don't know if the stars were aligned against me or what. It was just a really bad recording, and I came across several things that were the rules questions that I just didn't have the answer to, and it didn't flow real well, and I just wasn't comfortable with it. So I scratched that entire project and put it back up on the shelf. What else? Yesterday was just a whole host of just bad things happening. So I'm hoping today goes a little bit better. So anyways, load up my save game. And it does take a little bit to load up. Whee! Of course, my machine may be slowing down just a touch because of the processing power it's required for the graphics setting I've got for this. Hopefully, the sound and the graphics are coming through okay. Because like I said, I just downloaded the new version of OBS. Well, I don't know if it's the newest version, the latest version of OBS, and was much different than the version I was using, and so I'm still tweaking and fiddling with it. But basically, turn overview. We got Germany, Romania, Waffen-SS. Those are the three factions you have, and basically these little numbers is how much income you get per turn for buying reinforcements, buying new units, and stuff like that. And you've got a whole bunch of specializations. Most of specializations come through in between every campaign battle. You get a certain amount of research points, and you can use these to buy them. Think of like a tech tree in Civilization. So this is kind of a listing of all the specializations that I've gotten so far. And like I said, since I'm Panzerkrieg is the second in the DLC stream, I guess you could say. Blitzkrieg being the first one, then Panzerkrieg. And then I'm sure there's going to be another one after this. Since I started with Panzerkrieg, and I decided I didn't want, I was just like, give me the base starting. I don't want to pick out my forces. It gave me all my specializations. So then we've got primary objectives, which we have hold Kharkov and Krasnograd. Seal off the Salant and clear the area west of whatever. Again, I'm not going to try to pronounce Soviet names. Secondary objectives: complete the operation 22 turns. 5 remaining units must survive. Wonderful. Take yada 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 and yada 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 in 5 turns. Okay, great. So they're telling me these are the objectives. These are the city names. The problem is it's not really easy to find out what those objectives are. There's nothing down here on the minimap. Now, on the minimap in Panzer Corps and the other games, they would put big, objective markers on the minimap to kind of draw your eyes to, all right, this is where you need to go for the objectives. So, let's take a look at the regular map. Let's see if I can bring. Yeah, here's the blown up map, and it shows locations, but it really doesn't. Okay, so you've got I think these gold circles are the victory locations I need to go for, but it's nothing that draws my eyes to them real immediate. So it's a little bit hard to figure out where the objectives are, and I find myself, all right, hold Kharkov and Krasnograd. Okay, so I know Kharkov is right there. Where the hell is Krasnograd? I mean, I've got to cycle and scroll through. Let's take a look at this. Let's see, where's there a yellow? Okay, so there's a yellow circle. Nope, that's not it. It's just a real pain in the ass. to try to find. Yeah, that's not it. Where's it? Where they're cool? Where is there? And I just don't know where. Oh, here it is. Okay, I think that's. Yeah, I can't even tell. Yeah, but anyway, so it's that's one of my few complaints about the system is just that the map listing is not very intuitive or player friendly to let you know where your objectives are. And then okay, so clear the area west of Petroscavia. And again, I have no idea where Petroscavia is, but it's somewhere. I got to clear stuff west of that, and then take Balkivia and the other two cities in 5 turns. Okay, so there's Balakilia, and I've got a buddy of mine who actually speaks really good Russian. He actually his job is translating Russian documents into English, and he always makes sure to point out, no, it's pronounced like this, and it's pronounced like this, and it's pronounced like this. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm butchering the name so badly. But yeah, he edits and translates Soviet book or Soviet era and Russian books into English, World War II books. Check him out on Amazon, Stuart Benton. But he does a lot of good work. There's a few of his books I want to pick up. I just haven't had the finances to do it yet. And let's see, where's the other one? I think that is going to be the other. Okay, so we know within 5 turns I got to capture that village and that village to get a secondary objective, and that will give me extra victory points, more stuff like that, yada yada yada. Okay, so that's the objectives. Now, we've already got a bunch of units out here. These are not my units. These are not my... You always have a core set of units that carry over from campaign to campaign or from battle to battle, in addition to whatever the scenario gives you. And so you kind of look right here, and this is kind of gives you a listing of the troops that I have that are carried over from battle to battle. German infantry, 41, 41, 42, 42, and then I've got... heavy infantry, Fallschirmjägers. It basically just gives a listing of my core units, the ones that carry over from campaign to campaign. Problem is, it doesn't fix every one of them from battle to battle. So even though it may be 4 or 5 months gain, from a historical standpoint, since the last battle, they haven't bothered to repair or replace any of my stuff. So I actually have to go through and reinforce each one of my units. I can tell their current unit strength is right here. 10's the maximum that you can do. So this unit is 5 out of 10 points. So I got to replace them. So I got to reinforce them. And you've got this little coin icon down here that tells you how many production points you have, or requisition points, or whatever. And that goes up by 18 a turn, like we saw from the previous screen. But I've got 500 points to play with. So, but we're into 1942 now. So what we want to do is I actually want to upgrade that unit to a different type. They're German Infantry 41. I want to make them German Infantry 42, and you're going to see it's going to cost me 30 production points, or 30 requisition points there to upgrade. So I go ahead and hit that, and where's the button? Do I want to add transport? And you can add transport units with them. Infantry, do I want to spend 60 or 90 points to give them transportation? No. So it gives me a little wrench sound. Now these guys are German Infantry 42, and now their strength is at 10. And now I can place them on the map. You can kind of see any place where these arrows are at, are locations where I can place them. So basically, from what I can tell, I am going to... Okay, so I got to take this village here and this village here. Oh, there is Petrovskovoyka. So I basically have got to pinch this bulge. You can kind of see this red line. That's the lines of where the Soviets have advanced. So basically, I'm going to have to push north and push south simultaneously. Meet myself here, cut off all the Soviets here, and destroy them. So I'm going to have to split my force into 2 parts. So let's go ahead and just upgrade everybody. Okay, German Infantry 42. I don't think I can upgrade them anymore, but I can replace them. So let's go ahead or reinforce them anyways. Reinforce. No, no, what have I got? Fallschirmjäger. Do I still have my other Fallschirmjäger? I had 2 Fallschirmjäger. I may have. Let's take a look at our dead. Okay, so I've got 3 units that die. 3 of my core forces that died in the last fight. And even if your core forces die, you get a chance to buy them back. And we definitely want to bring my Fallschirmjägers back. So it's going to cost me 80 gold to reform them. But that's fine. We want them back. And I've got 2 infantry units. That's only going to cost me 35 to reform him. And German engineers, we like engineers, 30 to reform them. So yeah, I mean, we're already spent just about half of our production points on just, and we haven't even got everybody up to speed yet because he needs to be upgraded. I don't have to upgrade him if I want to save myself the coins, but you know, I'm going to just because I like having my guys fresh and ready. German infantry 42, so let's just go ahead and reinforce them. Heavy infantry 41. I want heavy infantry 42, so it's going to cost me 41 gold. Ugh. So upgrade him. Fallschirmjäger 41. Is there a Fallschirmjäger 42? No, we're still just looking at Fallschirmjäger 41. And why I like Fallschirmjägers, I'll be getting into that in a little bit. They can do air mobile paratrooper strikes. Hey, Al Red Sox fan is there. Hey, how you doing, Al? Kind of figured you'd probably be jumping in and appreciating me doing this playthrough. Again, Al is going to be one of the guys that's going to be at the Dogs live stream tonight, so come by and check that out. And check out Al's channel for all things computer sports related. So yeah, okay, Fallschirmjäger 41. Force them. All right, now we're getting into my armor. Panzerkampfwagen 3H. Let's see, what do we have? Ooh. Panzerkampfwagen 4F2. 168 points to upgrade to that. Yeah, this is going to get really expensive. So it looks like I'm not really going to be upgrading those Panzer units. That's too bad. Because I really, really would like my Panzers to be more upgraded. But let's go ahead and reinforce them. Oh, there's some F1s. Reinforce those. Yeah, I'm down to 114 of my points, and I haven't even got all my units repaired from the last battle they were in. 88. Yeah. Now my aircraft. I'm going to be out of production points. Yeah, as my production points slowly slip away. Oh, God, that's the last unit. Let's upgrade them to a 42 infantry, heavy infantry. Yeah, I started with 500 points. I now have 37 left. Anyway, so everybody is pretty much up to strength. They've been reinforced. They've been replaced. All that good stuff. Now I need to figure out which units are going to be going where. I also don't want to leave everything over here completely open because the Soviets are probably going to be attacking that direction. So let's start off with taking some infantry. And it's just clicking to place them. You just click on the unit and drop them where you want. So we'll put 2 infantry there. Put 2 infantry here. Let's go ahead and take some tanks. Panzer F1s. Let's just leave these 88s in the back. Don't usually need them too much. Let's go ahead and just one at a time split my forces in half. Heavy infantry there. And heavy infantry up here. So I've got 1 tank left. Oh no, I've got 2 tanks left. Okay. Okay, Fallschirmjäger, since they're paratroopers, and you can actually do air mobile strikes with them. You can load them onto airplanes. You want to put them, try to find an airfield someplace, because they can only load up on airfields. I'm not seeing any airfields anyplace. Well, that's not good. Where the hell are the airfields at? I have no idea where the airfields are at. There might not be any airfields on this one, which would... Oh, here we go. Okay, so there's an airfield right there. So let's go ahead and put my Fallschirmjäger by the airfield so they can get to the airfield and load up. And if that's the only airfield, I better put my aircraft. I got a couple squadrons of Bf-109 fighters. I've got a squadron of Junker 87 Stukas. Let's see. I do want to try to defend a little bit over here, so let's take some of my engineers. Place them right there. Probably should be putting more. Don't have any artillery in my core force. It's just the way I haven't had the points to be able to really splurge on picking up any artillery. So hopefully I can acquire enough points this battle to be able to at least buy myself 1 or 2 batteries of artillery for my core force. Okay, one thing you do also kind of have that this game kind of introduced, you kind of got to keep an eye on, is command and control limits. Down here in this lower right-hand corner, next to each quote-unquote nationality, you got normal Wehrmacht. We know we've got the Romanians and the SS, and their production points that they have next to it. They also have their command and control limits. So the number to the left of the icon is how many command and control points you have left that you can be able to spend or be able to deploy. So helmets are ground forces, anchors are obviously naval forces, aircraft are obviously air forces. So for the general Wehrmacht forces, I have 12 points, 12 command points that I can still deploy. Well, how much is a command point? So let's just go to look at the purchase screen. And, you can click on anything, tank, anti-tank, artillery, what have you. The number in the upper right-hand corner that matches the little helmet symbol that's down here in the lower right-hand corner, that is how many command points. So if I wanted to buy this 7.5 centimeter 1918 field piece, it would cost me 2 command points to put them out. Similar, this 150 millimeter SFH-18 will cost me 3 command points. 170 millimeter. Ooh, that's a huge. 210 millimeter. Ugh. That would cost me 3 command points, but of course, again, that's like 200 some odd purchase points for me to purchase. So you sometimes will run into situations where you have more units to deploy than your command limit will allow. So now we've got everybody set, and I do have a commander. And I can attach the commander to a unit. But let's take a look at what he does. So you click on him. He gives +2 defense versus land infantry and +1 entrenching and fortification units position offers additional protection. So where do we want to stick him with? So he's kind of good on defense. I think let's go ahead and stick him with my engineer that I have over here. And when you go ahead and click on that unit now, you see that he's got the commander attached to him. So anyways, that's attaching leaders, and we're done with placement. So go ahead and click to end the deployment phase. And again, it brings up our turn overview. Generating 18 income for the Wehrmacht forces, 5 income return for the remaining forces, 2 income return for the SS forces. List of objectives, nothing's updated because I haven't done anything yet, so we just close it out. And since the computer's not doing anything, it obviously must mean it's my turn. So we know that we need to pinch off this line right here to try to capture or try to encircle and destroy the Soviet forces there. So we need to take this village and this village within 5 turns. So let's get to it. And you can zoom in a little bit to bring it in a little bit closer. So you kind of got this cool arrow to show wherever you can move to. And it kind of highlights where you can move to. So it makes it really easy to figure out how far your units can move. Now, fog of war is on. So if something is in a territory that provides cover, you're not going to see what's there. So I could move this unit in to capture this bridge and town right here, but the chances are there are going to be Soviets there, and if I run into them, they'll ambush me. So we want to move adjacent to that hex first. Like right there, yep. And so we have Soviet units that popped up. We cursor over it, Soviet heavy infantry. And as you kind of can see, when I moved into this hex, it expanded my front line a little bit. These are front lines, and these are areas where you can control. If you happen to be in a pocket and can't draw a line of supply to a friendly unit or friendly town or friendly edge, if you're completely encircled, your combat units are going to be less effective. And that is something that is a lot different than the previous Panzer Corps, Panzer General, Allied General, all those. They didn't have those in the previous game. So this is kind of a cool little thing that you can encircle the enemy units, and the enemy units actually fight at reduced efficiency. All right, so now that I've moved next to an enemy unit, it kind of shows up this little target icon, and I can shoot at them. And it kind of, okay, so we know their strength right here is 8. I should probably mention that. The strength of the unit is right underneath. So this German infantry 42 is a strength 10. This Soviet heavy infantry is strength 8. So that's kind of a good idea to gauge how strong the enemy is. And if you cursor over it, you can kind of see on the left-hand side, it says I'm going to inflict 2 casualties to them, and the Soviets are going to inflict 1 casualty back to me. That's what those numbers mean if I attack them. That's just the baseline. Due to random numbers and all that other good stuff, sometimes the casualties will be a little bit off, so you can't always rely on those numbers to be 100% perfect. So if you want to attack them, just left click on it. And it does some cool combat effects. So yeah, I inflicted 1 casualty on him, he inflicted 1 casualty on me, which is a little bit different than what the combat resolution was going to say. Now, I just need to decide how to move the rest of my guys up there. So obviously, tanks can't move into rivers, so go ahead and move him there. This is probably going to take me a bit to take that village, because it looks like I've only got one way across the track. Well, I probably will be able to get more units now that the infantry is adjacent. I think I can cross them over next turn. But let's move up. I don't like usually messing too much with guys that are in defensive positions, because I never know where the Soviets are going to attack. So just leave a lot of the guys that are already in positions that the scenario decided beforehand. But yeah, we'll leave that. Yeah, these guys, since I don't know where the Soviets are going to, well, let's move him up forward a little bit. Can't build a fortification on a bridge, so at least get those engineers off there, and they'll start slowly building up their own fortification. Oh, there's an airfield. Go ahead, at least put a little bit of defense on the airfield. But yeah, not knowing where the Soviets are coming, I just don't know what to expect. So I'm not going to bother trying to second guess. I'll react to the Soviets' advances elsewhere. But let's go ahead. Now, the one thing that does kind of irritate me is that once you commit to a movement, that's all you can move. Once you commit to a movement, your movement's done. It's not like you can move 1 hex at a time and kind of slowly move forward to find out what's there. So, if I take this Panzerkampfwagen 4E and move them there to this hex here, that'll end my movement. Which is sometimes good and sometimes bad, but if I move it too far forward, beyond where my fog of war is, basically the shaded area, I can't see there. If I try to move there, and there's an enemy unit there, I'll end up getting ambushed. And getting ambushed is bad because you end up taking a lot of casualties. So let's just go ahead and take this infantry first. And let's go ahead and move him there. Move next to Soviet conscripts. Now, since I didn't move into the hex, they didn't attack me as an ambush mode, but I moved next to them, and that automatically stopped me. And we can look through Soviet conscripts. There's a good way to kind of judge. If you're running against conscripts, they're not very good troops to begin with, so you can probably shoot the shit out of them really easily. And again, we're cursoring over the hex. We take a look at the casualties. I'll inflict 4. They'll inflict 0, but with a chance of inflicting 1 casualty. That's what the 0 plus. If there's ever a little plus after the number, it means there's a chance that they might inflict a casualty. So they've stopped moving. I can't do anything more with them because once a unit stops moving, that's done for the turn. So that was disappointing because it slowed me down. But since I'm next to them, I might as well shoot them. And it does a cool little graphics and animation with each of them shooting at each other. So you take a look at the little numbers popping above their head, you'll see how many casualties they did. So you had this little 0 pop above their head, so that means they did 0 casualties to me. But then we saw we inflicted 3 casualties on them. Now, every once in a while, if a unit takes too many casualties in a turn, they'll retreat, like these conscripts did. And what you can do is, if you won the fight, you force the enemy to retreat, you can follow up into the hex that they just vacated. So, and you don't want to click too far ahead, because once you click on another unit, you're done with the previous unit for movement. So if you didn't, take that one free hex of movement, you'll lose it. Let's take a look here. Okay, let's move these guys here. See, now we moved as we advanced our fog of war, or pushed the fog of war back. We now know there's a MG foxhole here, and we've got these conscripts here. Now, as you're looking, as I'm cursing over it, you see this little blue cross that's on this other allied German unit over here. That means that if I've got 2 units that are adjacent to an enemy unit, that unit, the one with the blue cross, is going to give a little bit of support, and you're going to do more damage to the unit that you're attacking. So I have the option of either going after this MG foxhole, which I will inflict 5 or more casualties against, and they'll only inflict 1 against me. So the decision is, do I want to knock out these conscripts because they've got 2 strength left and I'll do 6 casualties to them, or do I start working on this MG foxhole? Let's see. I got infantry that are following up behind. Let's go ahead and try to take out the foxhole. They inflicted 5 casualties. They did 1 casualty to me, and they didn't retreat, so I can't move up to follow them. Okay, now sometimes if you have units that have vehicle transportation, you'll see a little vehicle icon show up in the hex that they can move to. That means they can only get there if they load on their transports, which isn't too bad because it gives them the extra movement. However, they're stuck in that till the beginning of the next turn, and if you get shot at when you're in transports, you take more casualties. So let's not move him yet. Let's see, we got these panzers here. I'll move him up. Oh, okay, there was something we weren't expecting. If this anti-tank gun was adjacent to this unit, and so when I attacked this unit, since anti-tank guns are good against tanks, it gave it support to the foxholes, and if you saw the icon, it actually shot at me. It didn't do anything to me, but there are times if you've got anti-tank guns or artillery pieces behind, well, not really behind, but adjacent to a unit that you're attacking, they'll sometimes throw in their support against the unit that's attacking them. Al Red Sox fan asks, how many turns are in this scenario? That's a real good, easy way to figure that out. You go down here to the lower right-hand corner. You see 1/26. So you got 1 turn out of 26 turns. So basically, you've got 26 turns to do the scenario, which I will admit this is a lot better than Panzer Corps and Panzer General, all the other previous games. In the previous games, you'd have something stupid like 15 turns to do this scenario. They never gave you enough time in the older game, in my opinion. They never gave you enough time. The campaign, the battle, the scenarios in this one, they seem to give you plenty of time. I haven't run into an issue where I've ran out of time doing a scenario yet. But yeah, just for a quick idea, we're turn 1 of 26. So anyways, we destroyed this foxhole right here, and this kind of highlighted this hex, so I can advance into it. As you can see, every time I move, it's pushing those borders back. So let's see. Oh, good. Okay, kind of figured I had a unit that could get close to him. So, and another thing that you can kind of keep an eye on too. Since I'm moving these panzers right here and I'm moving adjacent to an enemy unit, you notice it pops up what the combat results could be if I move there and decide to attack. So the Soviet conscripts have got 2 units left. I'm going to do more than 5 casualties. Yeah, I might as well push them forward. And finish off those poor conscripts. The cool thing is those bodies are going to stay there. It's a little bit gruesome, but yeah, the casualties you inflict or units that you wipe out, it'll leave a burning tank or a shattered gun or dead bodies or something like that. But kind of like when a unit retreats, if you eliminate a unit, you can advance into this hex. Go ahead and advance there. I think that's about as far as I'm going to reach with my combat units. This guy, okay, so yeah, this is Panzer IV Mark or Panzer IVe. I can get him next to this 45 millimeter, and put the cursor right there. I'll inflict at least 2 casualties to him. He's going to inflict 1 casualty to me. So let's go ahead and move him up and shoot. So yep, I inflicted 2. He inflicted 1. Werfenhammen. That's got to be an artillery unit. Yep. Werfenhammen 40. Looks like a Stücke zu Fuß. So. Yep, that is a okay. That is artillery. So let's go ahead, move him there, and I don't think he can artillery unless I want to pay 5 resource points. Yeah, if I pay 5 resource points, okay. So my range on that guy is only like 2, anyways. So that's a good thing to know. He's outside of range, so I can't really use him this turn. But it's good to know that I've got those artillery units. And let's just follow with. Let's have the rest of these units down here follow up. Remember, I got 5 turns to take Barvenkovo. Let's see, what's that? Panzerschwawagen PZ or P17. That's an armored car. And you can't have more than 1 unit per hex. So just go ahead and push in there. And I think that's all the movement for these southern guys that I want to do. Check the chat real quick. Yep. Nobody's talking. 5 people watching, but nobody's talking. Al Red Sox fan, I do enjoy this game. It's a fun game. I mean, it's much lighter. It's much easier to get into than like my Tiller games, because you really have got to commit yourself to the Tiller games to really dig in and enjoy those. This is so much easier. I mean, it's pretty much it's kind of a rock paper scissors. Armor beats infantry, infantry beats guns, guns beat armor. That's kind of the rock paper scissors of it. There are some variations. Engineers will be a little bit better on attacking whatever they're attacking, and depending on the type of tank, and but for the most part, it's a rock paper scissors fight, and it's just putting the units what you need where they need to be. Now the problem is, since I don't know where all the Soviet forces are, sometimes I have to end up restarting the scenario 2 or 3 times because I get my ass handed to me not knowing what the Soviets or what the opponent's doing. But that's okay. So we got those guys. Let's go ahead now take my northern. Oh, I already did my northern advance force. We did everything over here because like I said, I could start advancing all these troops, but not knowing where the Soviet attacks are going to come, it's just a better idea for me to sit in defensive positions. And if you could kind of look, you see it looks like a bar of butter in the lower left-hand corner of the hex. That's actually they're in fortification level. They're actually supposed to be sandbags. The more a unit sits in a hex and does nothing, every turn it'll build up a little bit of its fortification. So we got these foxholes right here. They've only got 1 sandbag built up, so they've built up a little bit of fortifications. But you take a look at this Romanian infantry unit, and it's got several sandbags built up, so it's in better defensive formations. And you can see this foxhole has got two sandbags built up. So the more that you leave a unit in a space, the better its fortification becomes, which is good because that means it's going to take a lot more to knock it out. As soon as you move, you lose it all. And even if you move back into the hex that you were digging into, you still lost your defensive fortifications. So if you don't have to move anything, don't. So what do we have over here? Okay, so we've got my aircraft. Now we got a BF-110. I always liked the BF-110. It was identified as a heavy fighter, but it was a crappy heavy fighter just because it did not have the turn radius. It was a twin engine, had hella guns on it, had 20 millimeter guns on it, had a gunner in the back with a machine gun in the back. It just got outflew by pretty much every other aircraft. The Spitfires, the Hurricanes, and even later in the war, the American Mustangs. It's a heavy fighter, and yeah, as a heavy fighter, it can do good stuff. It's just historically did not do that well. It was great ground attack. I mean, because it had the 20 millimeter cannons on it, so it was a great ground attack. But the nice thing about aircraft is that they can move hella far. You can kind of see how far they can move away from the airfield, and they reveal everything, all the fog of war. The drawback is they can only stay up for a certain number of turns. So if you can kind of see the number underneath the BF-110, it's got this 10 and then this 9. 10 is its strength. It's at full strength with 10. But it can only stay up for 9 turns. It goes beyond that, and it'll start taking damage until it gets back to an airfield to refuel, which is actually a lot better than Panzer Corps 3 used to be, because aircraft in that game had like half the flight times that the aircraft in this game have. So, I mean, like, yeah, the BF-110, I think, had a 4-turn that it could stay up before it ran out of fuel. And in Panzer Corps 3, if an aircraft ran out of fuel, it just flat out crashed and you lost the entire unit. If it doesn't matter, if it was a 10 strength and you didn't get back to the airfield, but you'd lose all 10 of them. This one, it just takes casualties over time until you get back. You don't want it to do that, so you want to kind of keep an eye on what its fuel level is and try to get it back to base. But let's just go ahead. Let's go ahead and push these guys here. As we can see, it pushed the fog of war back. Didn't change the front line, because obviously aircraft can't capture ground force, or can't capture ground. But it did push the fog of war back, so we kind of got an idea what's here in Bervenkovo. So we got some Soviet engineers here, Soviet infantry here, T-26 tanks here, artillery piece there, got an anti-aircraft gun here. And we've got this little flashing icon right here. So that's basically what our air radar is saying. Hey, there's an enemy aircraft unit right here. But, I've already moved this guy, so I can't do anything with him. You can only attack what's adjacent to you or under you as an aircraft. So had I ended his movement on top of these Soviet engineers, I'd have been able to shoot at the Soviet engineers. But I didn't. So there's the BF-110. We know that the Soviets have got an aircraft there. And I do have a couple BF-109s. I always like having a couple fighters just to deal with enemy fighters. The problem is there's this 85 millimeter anti-aircraft gun. If I attack this aircraft, that anti-aircraft gun, since it's adjacent to the aircraft, is going to get into the fight and shoot at me. And that's going to cause me more casualties than I want to take. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to fly. I can cursor over and can kind of see what casualties I'll inflict if I strafe them. Fighters aren't really that good at strafing ground targets. You can do it, and as you're looking at this 45 millimeter anti-tank gun, there's a chance I might inflict one casualty. But you know what? It's not bad, so I'll go ahead and move him there, which opens up the fog of war, pushes the fog of war back a little bit. See, now I've spotted the Soviet infantry up here, and I've gotten close enough I've been able to identify this as a Tupolev. Tupolev are Soviet bombers, so I'm going to try to want to shoot that out of the sky as soon as I can. But since I'm over an enemy unit, just go ahead and click on it. Strafe it. I did do 1 point of damage. Now, the nice thing with aircraft, after they get done bombing or strafing a target, you can move them into one of the 6 adjacent hexes. So I go ahead and push him there, which pushed the fog of war back even more. Now I know there's Soviet cav up here, and I've got a second BF-110. I'm going to go ahead and come in, strafe the same target again, and I'm going to move him there. And I have some Stukas, but my Stukas don't have the range to get there. But basically, since aircraft are continually on the move, you can strafe and bomb an enemy unit several times as long as you've got the aircraft that can move to it, and then after you're done strafing, move off of it. So I'll just move my Stuka up to here. Yeah, the Stuka's got 11 turns of flight time they can have. In Panzer Corps 3, I know they only had like 5 or 6. So there are. If you know Panzer Corps or the Panzer General Series, you're going to be able to slip into this game real easy. You just kind of got to keep an eye on what the chrome is and what the changes are. Yes. Oh yeah, Al Red Sox. I hope they do Korea and Indochina. Like I said, I think that it would make sense that the way they've got this modular system set up, and I believe they are. I think I've heard rumors But that's rumors in the gaming community, or rumors. They're just that. So, but anyway, so I think I'm actually done with my turn. Okay, I do. Okay, so let's go ahead and move my Fallschirmjäger at least to the airfield. Now the problem is, if you go ahead and cursor over it, it costs 20 gold to embark my Fallschirmjägers onto the aircraft. I've only got 37 left, and I'm only getting 18 a turn. So Fallschirmjägers are great because they can do paratrooper drops behind enemy lines, but that 20 gold that it costs to get them onto the aircraft each, we're gonna hold those guys a little bit in reserve for now. We're gonna see what happens with the Soviet attack. So basically, the turn is all done. Yeah. Oh, and if you cursor over something, you've got all these stats down here in the stat window below them. I'm not gonna get into that. I don't worry about it too much. Again, infantry is infantry. Engineers are a little bit better than infantry. Conscripts suck as infantry. And I know it's like, all right, I know that's a T-26. I know it's a crappy tank. I don't need to know the exact stats of it, so I don't worry about getting too much into the background stats. It's not going to affect a lot of my attacks. It's like, all right, it's a T-26. I'm going to want a halfway decent tank. I'm going to want at least a PZ-3 or PZ-4 to go after it. So I don't get into exactly min-maxing what stats are what's going to be the most optimum. In the real life, you don't have that. I mean, like I said, infantry is infantry. A Sherman is a Sherman. Panzer IV F2 is a Panzer IV F2, and I can kind of gauge, all right, how well is a Sherman going to be doing against a Panzer IV F2? I don't need to know the exact numbers, so I don't worry about them. But the numbers are there if you're into that type of thing. So just go ahead and hit in turn. And then it brings up some of your units can still move or attack this turn. Obviously, I didn't move everybody. Are you sure you want to continue? I kind of like that. There's a lot of games that doesn't have that. I click on, I'll click the in button, and it's like, oh crap, I forgot an entire flank I wanted to move. This at least brings it up and says, hey, idiot, you've still got people to move. So we'll just go ahead and hit continue. And now the Soviets take their turn. We just sit back and watch. Yeah, he's got artillery. He's shelling me. No big surprise. Fighters strafing tanks. Oh my, he's got a lot of aircraft. Fortunately, like I was saying, fighters don't do real well strafing infantry. Uh-oh, Katyushas. Yeah, see, I knew the Soviets were going to be advancing. Those are my engineers, flamethrower rolling. Just didn't know where they were going to come. Engineers are real good against, or those weren't even engineers, those were heavy infantry. I think they were heavy infantry. Alright, we may have to pull those guys back to the bridge anyways. Oh my goodness. Yep, see, I took enough casualties that turn that caused me to retreat. Completely wiped out my engineering unit. Alright, so end of the turn. It updates the turn overview. Again, telling me how much income I'm getting a turn. So I was at 37 last turn, but I get plus 18, so I'm now sitting at 55. And then primary objectives, secondary objectives, nothing's really updated. So that just gives you a good idea. The problem is, my commander, who was attached to those engineers, was wounded in action and hospitalized for recovery. You take a look at the commander screen up here in the upper right-hand corner. You got that little 9 there. That tells you how many turns it's going to be before he comes back. Uh, Dog took off. See ya later, dog. If nothing, I will see dog later this evening. Let's see. All right, so now, again, kind of like how I do any big scenario, I break each section of the fight down into its own scenario with the overarching, plan in my head, so I don't get too overwhelmed and confused. So let's just go ahead and take this northern flank first, as the first quote-unquote scenario, sub-scenario. So I've got 3 guys left in there because my strength was 10, but it's now 3 because they were getting shot up. So I can try to reinforce. It'll cost me 4 gold. I'll get 2 guys back, and I'll lose 20% of my experience. But you know what? Let's just go for the time being. Let's just pull those guys back and move up a fresh unit. Actually, let's go ahead and get across the river. Kind of like we see me do a lot with John Tiller games. I want to try to surround and envelop, cut off, and destroy. Now, hopefully I won't catch any fire because I'm in a river, and the rivers just reduce your defense. So hopefully I won't get caught there and get shot up. But let's see. Let's go ahead and move this armor up. Armor tends to be pretty good at blowing infantry out of cities. These guys. Now, I say normally I don't want to push guys into a river next to a combat unit, but I'm on a timetable, so I am going to run the risk, push those guys there and have them attack, just so I have multiple fire going on those guys. This tank is going to move here and shoot up those T-38s. He pulled back. Now, again, I could advance into here, but I'll be in a river, and your defense is reduced. But you know what? Let's go ahead and do it anyway. Okay, infantry. That's going to be bad. But let's go ahead and move these guys up. Okay, since I pulled these guys back, let's go ahead and spend a little bit of gold, resource points to reinforce them a little bit. I got 2 points back, so now strength 5. That's a blown bridge there. Do I want to move any of these guys? Panzer fucking 2. No, I think he's still got this village over here that he could attack from. So I'm going to leave those guys there. Hopefully I should be able to get that within 1 or 2 turns. I think I've got enough forces, unless he puts a lot of reinforcements over there. So let's move down here to the southern area. Let's see, what do we want to do? Let's go ahead and push the infantry onto the bridge first. Yeah, okay, so that we got... Oh, that's bad. That's bad. As you see, the stats have changed. I'll inflict maybe 0 casualty, or might inflict 1 casualty. He'll inflict at least 2, maybe 3. Mostly because he's got support. So we're going to have to knock out some of this support that I'm stacked next to. So we got these 45 millimeters. Yeah, let's just go ahead and knock out those guns if we can. Yeah, forced him to retreat. Follow up. Still doesn't change my odds any. But you know what? Let's take the Stuka. If I drop the Stuka there, that anti-aircraft gun's going to shoot the snail snot out of me. But I got to try to dig that infantry out anyway. Pull him off. What to do with these 2 fighters? You know what? We know they're enemy fighters way up here. And I've got the movement to get there. Let's go ahead and move these 2 fighters up here to try to engage their fighters. Plus, it'll push the fog of war back so I can kind of see what's going on. And, oh, wonderful. Stop right next to an anti-aircraft gun. So, yeah, since I know the anti-aircraft gun is there, it's now giving me a blue cross. Because that unit will give the unit that I'm shooting support. So I don't want to... But, you know, it's 0+, 0+. Let's shoot up at any rate. Yeah, they managed to knock out one of my aircraft where I did 0 casualties to them. Let's go ahead and move him off. And my other BF-109. So there's got to be an airfield up here. I hope there's an airfield up here somewhere. I don't see any airfields up here. All right, I'm just going to have to keep an eye on my fuel. Yeah, let's go ahead and shoot up the anti-aircraft guns. So that's the northern. These guys up. All right. Let's. Do I want to load up the Fallschirmjäger now? No, let's not load up the Fallschirmjäger yet. However, we do kind of have an issue over here. Now these guys are dug in pretty good, and the Soviets are going to be coming across a bridge, but still, we're going to have to move the Stug up. So he's probably going to get shot to hell, but I need to try to relieve this attack. Yeah, OT-130s and T-60s now. The Stug outclasses those vehicles. I mean, they might do 1 or 2 casualties to me, and if there's enough of them, they'll be able to put a hurt on me. But I need to do something to help to stem this little advance up here until we find out where more of the Soviets are moving. I don't want to start moving anybody else out, because that's the thing. The computer cheats. The computer sometimes usually knows what you're doing. So, like, if I were to take these Romanians from here and move them out, I guarantee next turn the Soviets will be pushing on that village when they hadn't planned on doing it originally. So I think that's everybody. And let's go ahead and check the chat real quick. Nope, just still Al, Red Sox fan, chatting away, and there's only 2 of us watching. I know I'm one of the people watching, so that means Al's probably the other person watching. How long has this stream gone for? That's the one thing that annoys me. Oh, started streaming at 61 minutes ago. All right, well, let's just go ahead and see what the Soviets are going to do. Yes, I know some of my units can still move and attack. You sure want to continue? Yes. Yep, those anti-aircraft guns are shooting me up. He's pulling his aircraft back. Yeah, except for that one. I think I forgot. Yeah, like I said, don't want to be caught in the river. But sometimes you got to take the risk anyways. See, he didn't have any defenders up there, and they said, screw you, I'm going to go take those villages. Yep, and like I said, I knew their attack was going to be coming eventually. So, all right, again, just turn overview. How much gold, how many resources I'm making for each of the different factions. Nothing has really changed. So yeah, just close that out. And then it's basically rinse, wash, repeat. We've been going for about an hour so far. I think that's a good amount of time. I want to take a little break. I want stuff around the house I want to get done. And I'm probably going to well, what I want to do is check post production on this, see how the video quality is, and I'm gonna have to go back into OBS. Might have to go back into OBS and tweak that a little bit more. But I will probably be back to stream some more Sea Lion later this afternoon. And of course, being dogs, Google Hangouts later tonight. So I think we're good. I think we'll call it a stream for now. Again, I don't know how much I'm going to focus on this. I'm having a lot of fun with Sea Lion, so I'm probably going to bounce back and forth between these two. And yes, I am going to get back to tabletop gaming and just real life events make this the easier thing for me to do right now. But that's what I got. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms, and the comment section. I'll see everybody next time. See ya!